I'm afraid I'm going to break a nail popping this open. But I didn't.
Those are real problems right there.
I've got pretty nails. Don't want them to break.
No. I hear you. This thing. Scoot it that way. Just
rotate. There we go. Rotate. There. See? Oh. There went the lens cover. Oh, well.
Good deal.
Are we recording?
We're recording, for sure. We recorded all of that.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Kat, the dog trainer.
And I'm the guy with the pink gun, and I have something in my eye.
Your finger.
I don't know.
Welcome to this week's YAWA, where you ask us questions and we answer them, and hopefully get to as many as we can without shorting our answers too much.
We have a couple cool announcements to start off with. I think I can see again, maybe.
You don't really need to see. You just need to talk, so it's fine.
Okay. We got some new hats. Those bad boys. That's pretty freaking cool, if you ask me.
Some 3D bubble action going on.
They're black on black with cool Chargo logo up there, and look slick.
And they will be up on the website very soon.
As soon as I can get around to getting the old Photoshop box up and taking a picture of them, but
light box.
Tomato, you know.
Yeah, sure. What other announcements you got?
I think that it's kind of fun to talk about the fact that we had an awesome seminar this last weekend that went really, really well.
Yes.
We did a bunch of formal retrieving work demonstration. Everybody brought their dogs out. There were 7 dogs here.
7 dogs.
7 dogs, plus we have 8 dogs in right now that are working on that. So everybody got to kind of walk through all of that. And Vexer did all of the demoing, and we had a few requests from people to do live seminars so that people could watch them or quote unquote participate online, and not really set up to do anything like that right now. But what we are set up to do is answer your questions in a very similar format via Patreon. That's patreon.com/Standing Stone Kennels. If it's your first time to the channel, guys, definitely hit that subscribe button because we appreciate all of you.
Great. Is that it for announcements?
That's all I got.
That's all he's got. Okay. Well, then we're going to get into answering questions right off the bat because there were a lot of good ones, and we probably won't get to all the ones that I wanted to, but I'm going to do my best to try. So this is a really good question because it hits on one of our other videos that we just recently shot with our puppy Thunder, and I wanted to expound on that a little bit more. From LL Bowick on Instagram. I know you don't like wing on a fishing pole for obvious reasons, but I was wondering how you felt about it with using it in high brush or bushes where scent had to be used.
Well, that's a great question, and one that's a pretty common thought process for people.
And I would say, though, it's a very common thought process, but it's also a misconception that anything using a wing on a string is actually using scent, because that wing is dead, dried up, maybe some smell to it, but really that's not the scent recognition.
Pretty small amount.
Yeah, that's not really the scent recognition that we're going for, is a dog to point something that's dead and rotten or dead and dried up on the end of a string. That's not what we're looking for them to do. So using a wing on a string in thick cover where we're hoping that they're going to be using their nose instead of their eyes is, again, not the process that we're looking for. We're looking for them to have scent recognition and to learn to use their nose to point. And with that being said, we need live birds for that to happen. We can't use scent on bumpers. We can't use dead birds, frozen birds, wings, things like that. We need them to point live birds, which is where we use pigeons a lot of times to start out with, but you can use quail and chukar and things like that. But it has to be a live bird that they're recognizing that scent of.
Now, to touch on the first part of the question that was stated, we know that you don't like wing on a string for obvious reasons. I don't want that to be misunderstood. we have explained, and in that video that we did, if you guys haven't seen that video,
maybe we can put the little bumper down here of the link for that video.
We say that it has a place and you should definitely do it. Just don't overdo it.
Yeah, it definitely can be done.
You don't even have to definitely do it, but you can do it. There's no problem with that, but don't overdo it. And that's the biggest thing. And that's the case with all training. You can overdo everything. So that would be our only word of caution is don't overdo the wing on a string.
Because it puts too much emphasis on sight pointing and not enough on them using their nose, which led us into our answer of no, the wing on a string, even when used in thick cover, wouldn't actually allow the dogs to recognize that scent and use their nose to point. So we want to make sure that we're using and moving into live birds for that pointing instinct to come out. So we have another question from Roxy_8 on Instagram. I'm getting a large Munsterlander next year, and this will be my first time training a bird dog. Congratulations. That is really exciting. And the fact that you've planned ahead this far, I mean, in a year, that's awesome. A lot of people that we work with also plan ahead, which is great. You know, they're putting deposits down for puppies in 2022. But the fact that you're thinking ahead and planning is great. So you said, is there anything I can do before getting my puppy to prepare and learn? Physically, I've done tons of research, or will I just be jumping in head first? So the fact that you're asking questions and trying to educate yourself is very important. And there are a lot of great resources out there. Hopefully you found our YouTube channel and are following along with some of our puppy training series. We've had a training series with Quest and Rogue, even a little lab puppy Sprig, which I know you're getting a large Munsterlander, so it's a pointing breed dog, but still a lot of those basics.
What are you talking about? Large Munsterlanders are basically Labradors.
Not even close. But you can follow along with a lot of the basics for any of those puppy training series. And then for your breed, your versatile breed, you can move and follow along with Quests and Rogues training sessions and training series. And a lot of other really great information is on our YouTube channel, not to like toot our own horn, toot, toot, but we try and really...
That was her tooting her own horn.
But we really try and share as much information and advice and experience that we have with people. We really, you know, our goal of our channel is to be hilarious, of course. No, we're not really that funny, but we really try and entertain.
I was going to say, we aren't funny at all.
No, but we try and educate people with a little bit of entertainment thrown in, and share those experiences and hunting, training, and dogs, and all of the things that we've learned throughout this process of, you know, training our own dogs. So YouTube channel, as well as when you do get your puppy, and if you are struggling, because yes, even though you can read as much as you want, we've got a few really great blog posts on our website as well that you can check out, and watching a ton of videos. But yes, there will be some aspect of you just got to jump in and start figuring it out on your own. And once that point happens, you might need a little more guidance or have more specific questions. And that would be a really great place where you can check out our online dog training community on Patreon, where we can actually watch training sessions that you've videoed. We can actually set up phone consults depending on which level of patronage you would want to participate with. And we have a new tier, which is called Live, which allows you to schedule Zoom chats or, you know, FaceTime type chats where we are actually having a video chat at the same time that you're doing a training session. So we can jump in and say, hey, what you're doing there is great, or, you know, what you're doing there isn't great, and we need to change that sooner rather than later.
The biggest thing that we need to probably go over with that specifically is...
You lost your train of thought?
Completely.
I really don't know where you were going with that. Usually I'm really good at like following his scattered brain and knowing what he's planning on saying.
It's gone.
But it's gone.
Completely gone.
If it ends up coming back, we'll throw it up there.
I'm not going to throw anything up.
I hope not. Did you have something to go with Patreon or a response to her question about learning as much as she can?
Nah, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay, well, we will move on with another question then. This one's a good one.
Okay.
For me. Well, you said you were, you know, scattered or whatever. Oh, where is it? I knew this one was coming up. Oh, here, from Sarah Lucas 4 on Instagram. Kat, where are your favorite places and brands for women hunting clothes? So
I know the answer to this.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
No,
I'd love to hear the answer
Go.
for this. Okay. So this is a good question. I get asked it every once in a while, and I definitely have my go-tos for hunting gear. It is always a struggle to find quality women's hunting clothing that actually fits and is functional and is durable.
And looks cute.
Well, of course, that's always a part of the equation. It has to look cute. You got to feel good when you're out there hunting and look good while you're doing it. But what I was also going to say is one thing that I struggle with is sometimes I get hooked on, I love these pants, or I love this vest, or I love this jacket. And I wear it out in a couple years or more than a couple years, and I go to re-buy it and it's no longer available. So
because the women's clothing market is like typically, borderline fly-by-night companies. They come in and they're like, oh, we're going to cornerstone the women's market for upland gear. And then they realize that there really isn't a market. And that's not a slap in the face of women that hunt. It's just the fact that there's very few of you.
There's fewer, but I think that the number is growing, and there's definitely a niche for quality women hunting clothing. But to answer your question,
if you are a woman and you hunt, throw a like in there for all the other women that hunt.
Yeah, because I feel like, yes, we are definitely a minority in the number of people that are hunting, but I also feel like it's a growing number. So things that I really like, and I'll kind of go from the top down or the bottom up. I'll pick one way. I'll go from the bottom up. So I've been using Keen hunting and hiking boots a lot, but we just put a video out about the new YAWA Renegade boots that we're going to be trying out. We did a first impression unboxing video. That video can kind of go down here if you want. And I was really impressed with the boots to begin with. I definitely need to get into them, wear them in the field, wear them for a first season, and get a real response on those. But I've liked Keens for a long time. The waterproof side of things on their boots isn't as great as I would like, as well as they tend to break down within a short amount of time. And they're fairly expensive. And so if I have to replace those boots every year, it gets to be expensive. So I'm trying to find something that I don't have to replace quite as frequently. Now for pants, I've got a couple brands that I like. I like Prois's pants. They had a pair of pants a while ago. They don't make them anymore that were really heavy duty, really thick. I really liked those. I have a couple pairs, but again, don't have those as an option to purchase anymore, but they have a new pair out that I've also really liked, and that they're a little stretchier, but they also have some really nice cordura on the front, which helps them hold up pretty well. I've used some chaps before, but chaps are hit and miss for me because I'm pretty short, so the last pair of chaps that I actually had to custom order because I couldn't get any that even cinched up to the top of my waist. They were still too long and dragging on the ground, as well as chaps can get pretty heavy after a while. So
go ahead, continue. Just remind me that we're talking about chaps.
Jump right in there, babe. I don't want you to lose your train of thought again.
Okay, so she mentioned that chaps can be pretty heavy, and one thing that I experimented with this last year is Orvis has a new line of products with their tough shell material, and that tough shell material, I think they even made a dog. They made a dog vest out of it. I have not seen that.
Producer.
Oh, well, hey, let me look. But the chaps, super duper lightweight. So I ordered a pair of those to try this year. I don't have a feedback on whether or not they're good or not, but I can tell you first impressions, they're exactly like the pants that I have that held up really well as far as material goes. And they are super lightweight in comparison to any chaps I've ever owned. So
still, they would be way too big on me.
Well, they have like a medium men's.
Yeah, that's not going to work for me.
I know. I understand these things.
Now, going back to talking about pants for women, though, Orvis also has a couple really nice pairs of pants that I've tried that fit really well, held up really well. I wore them a ton in South Dakota last year, and even through some really thick stuff, I was not getting poked all the way through, and that was without wearing chaps on top of them. So I really liked those pants that they had on Orvis. As far as shirts, Orvis also makes some really nice women's shooting shirts. The thing that I've always run into with shooting shirts that has been frustrating is I want to be able to tuck my shirt in and not have like a belly shirt going on. So Orvises are long enough and they're a flattering enough cut that they taper in at the waist. So if you want to wear them untucked, they still look nice, but they're a long enough shirt that you can tuck them in really well. So I have a couple of their shirts. I actually have a ton of their shirts because, again, like I said, I found a shirt that I liked. They were currently making it in my size. And so I bought the lot. I was like, I'm buying it in every color, like 2 or 3 times, so that when I wear one out and they eventually don't make them again, because that kind of tends to happen to me, then I still have some shirts stashed away in the closet that haven't even been worn yet. So I really like their shirts. I also really love Orvis's women's soft shell upland jacket. It's got some blaze orange highlights on it. It fits really, really well. It's water resistant, waterproof, very wind resistant as well. So I really like that. Now vests. I've tried a couple different vests. I'm still stuck on the vest that I got probably about 10 years ago now, and it's an Eddie Bauer vest. Unfortunately, they don't make it anymore, so I feel bad saying, hey, that's my favorite vest, but I tried Orvis's vest. I didn't like it as much. I also tried, Proas has a strap vest that, again, I didn't love as much. So I'm kind of still stuck on my Eddie Bauer tried and true. Maybe you can find one on eBay somewhere. Somebody's selling an older one, but I really like that. And then I guess just whatever for hat. I wear hearing protection. We use Wild Ear hearing protection, which is an electronic hearing protection. And then I would say that's pretty much it for my go-to hunting stuff. Find a pair of gloves that you really like and a hat that keeps your ears warm if it's cold out, and you're good to go. So did you find what you were looking for, sir? Mr. Producer, also known as Ethan.
I did. They don't have it.
What size do those come in? Do they come in?
Small.
Oh, they come in small.
In stock.
Do they come in short?
No.
Well, I may try the Orvis small chaps and see how ridiculously long they are on me.
I'll tell you right now that I ordered medium longs and I probably need small longs. So I would guess the smalls are going to be fairly gapey. But
well, order them and see how they fit. So, great question on...
So order them. Done.
Do it.
Got it. I got a YAWA question through email, actually.
Oh, do it. Pull it up. Make sure
here.
that you screenshot that, though, so that we can send it to our video editor. Type up the questions.
It's about potty training, and it says clicker training session and what. I think this is going to be a better part 2 question because there's a little more going on here.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that one in part 2. So spoiler alert.
Aha.
This is a good question for our last question of this part 1.
Got it.
From Victoria Kennedy on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Do you train other dogs or just the ones that we breed?
Well, funny that you mention that. We train all dogs.
We do train all dogs. We do train a ton of dogs from our breeding program, which we absolutely love working with dogs from our program. It allows us to not only evaluate puppies from our breeding program that we are allowed and have the opportunity to train, so that it allows us to say, hey, that was a really great cross. We should probably repeat that. Or, hey, that puppy, the puppies from this litter weren't as natural water love dogs, or, they didn't back as naturally as I would have really liked to see out of this cross. Let's try something different. But it allows us to evaluate those breedings. But we do work with a lot of short hairs outside of our breeding program, as well as a lot of other breeds of dogs. So
you get a pretty good mixture of things bebopping in and out. But the fact that all of our videos and a majority of our content is created with short hairs, people go, oh, they're short hair people, which, in essence we are, but we do have the ability to work with
other versatile breeds, as well as other breeds that aren't pointing specific. So we've worked with English cockers, labs, like we're getting a new little lab puppy. So obviously we'll be working with him and another maybe not whole training series, but filling in some blanks and then doing some more advanced stuff with him when he's ready. But yes, we definitely train all breeds, as well as short hairs from outside of our program. And we do a lot of obedience training too, not just hunting dogs, which all of the hunting dogs that come in for training there's usually a focus on obedience as well, because 99.9999% of those dogs that come in for training are people's family pets, and obedience is a huge, important part of their lives, to be able to settle down, behave in the house, and be part of the family. So we put a lot of emphasis on that, as well as any hunting training. That yes, there's a natural ability aspect of it, but a lot of the other parts of it is obedience based as well.
Yeah, I would say the biggest portion of the training all the way around, even you think about being in the field and everything else, is obedience based.
Yeah, because you think about a retrieve. Well, they need to want to go out and pick it up, but then they need to come back, which is the recall, which is obedience based.
Well, and even just the fact that the dogs are bred and have natural ability, and a lot of that is exposure, that we kind of bring that natural ability out. There's some fine tuning that goes in that, but then the rest of it is obedience behaviors to kind of go hand in hand with the natural ability that's already there.
For sure. Through WOA training and recall and
without the obedience, the natural ability didn't do you all that good. So
those were some great questions for this part 1.
Absolutely fantastic questions.
And we will take a short break and be back with you for part 2, starting with Ethan's email question.
Yeah.